America, we are back, baby. Welcome to another episode of America Unfiltered with James Paskalides. We got a great show for you tonight, everyone. We got a lot of different topics to talk about. We're going to talk about the Epstein survivors' testimony today that they did on Capitol Hill with Ro Khanna and Thomas Massey. We'll talk about Thomas Massey's bill and the headways it's making through Congress. We'll talk about the fake Epstein file released yesterday. The government, they wanted us to think that they were going to finally be transparent, but what do you know? They released the same exact files they released before, calling it something new. 97% of the files they released had already been seen by the people, and the files that we had not seen were almost fully redacted. So we'll talk about that today. If you own an Ora Ring, we'll talk about that today. They just signed a deal with, guess which company? Palantir. Talk about Palantir. We'll talk about Ora Ring. We'll talk about the BBC, MSNBC, Time, and world scholars officially declaring the war in Israel a genocide. We will talk about the meeting with Putin, President Kim Jong-un, and President Xi today. We will talk about Trump's message back to them, and we will talk about what this means for the United States going forward. We will also talk about the man who tried to shoot Trump, not the one who actually did put a bullet in his ear, but the one who is waiting at his golf course. He is now challenging Donald Trump to a mutual combat match. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Venezuelan boat. Like I said, we got a lot of great topics to talk about today, so please remember to smash the follow button, leave a comment if you have any questions. Tune in for the entire show today because, like I said, we got a great show for you. We're going to dive right into our topics today. I want to talk about this Epstein survivors testimony. Multiple Epstein survivors testified today. It was very, very, very sad. Nancy Mace actually cried and ran out of the room, just completely crying, emotional. It's actually a little bit embarrassing for her. I feel like Nancy Mace has a tendency to try and make things a little bit about herself. She was one of the people who dressed in pajamas and made a TikTok to go vote on a congressional bill. She held a nude photo of herself on the congressional floor one time. I think, like I said, she likes to make these things about herself a little bit, but it was a very emotional day. We saw these women get up there and talk about their terrible experiences with these powerful billionaires, the Mossad agents, Hollywood elites, etc., politicians. What they said after is very powerful. They said that the government is doing whatever they can to push back against them, that the pedophiles are doing whatever they can to push back against them. The victims are literally getting offed one by one by these pedophiles, by these deep state agencies, Mossad, CIA, whoever it is, but most likely Mossad. Virginia Giuffre, Virginia Roberts is one of the greatest examples of this. After saying she wouldn't take her own life multiple times, got hit by a bus. The bus didn't kill her. She said that the bus was an attempt to take her life. And then she said she wouldn't kill herself again, only to kill herself just a couple weeks later. And her family, when they questioned it, was not able to get any answers on the subject. Wow, what a surprise. Mossad is just offing these people. The government's doing nothing about it. We have these women testifying in front of Congress, and after they testified, these women said that if the government is not going to release the list, that the remaining survivors will get together and they will release a list of the names. That is a powerful statement, but a dangerous statement. Like I just said, a lot of these women have already died at the hands of Mossad agents, pedophiles, Hollywood elites and politicians. These women saying that directly puts a target on their back from these people. We need to pray for their safety. We need to pray for their continued recovery from the trauma they dealt with from these events. I hope that they are able to get justice, and we all need to be able to get justice on this. We've been lied to by our government, lied to by our politicians, by people we voted for, by people who say they have our best interests in mind, but do they really? Or do they have Israel and Mossad's best interests in mind? Because it doesn't seem like it was American intelligence agencies who were financing Jeffrey Epstein. The more information that comes out, especially with the leaked emails from Ehud Barak that we talked about yesterday, 100,000 leaked emails from the former prime minister of Israel and the former chief of Mossad showing his close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, how they would go to the island together, how they wanted to get Peter Thiel, Bill Gates, and all these people alone on the island without security. It's becoming very clear and very apparent that this was a Mossad-run operation used to try and make United States politicians bend over for Israel. And beyond just that, information, there's also the blackmail paintings that Jeffrey Epstein had. He had the painting of George Bush sitting on the floor like a child, flying a paper airplane into two Jenga towers that were toppling over, signaling that I have something over you about 9/11. We all know about the dancing Israelis. We all know about the conspiracy there that United States and Mossad seem to have known that 9/11 was going to happen well before it did. Alex Jones even predicted it almost to a T, that planes would fly into towers and it would kill multiple people, and that they would blame these people for weapons of mass destruction, saying that they hate our freedom. Over 10,000 American lives were lost because of those lies, because of the corrupt deep state, and we need to expose it. Yes, it's about exposing Jeffrey Epstein, it's about stopping pedophilia, but it's about so much more. It's about exposing the entire deep state, the entire system that runs this world, because it's not the president, it's not the government, it is the intel agencies and the three-letter agencies that we don't even know about. The fact that Mossad was able to get away with this for so long just shows that there's probably a lot more things like this happening that we just don't even know about yet. And we need to continue pushing for that truth. It's very brave of these women to get up there and say they're going to create their own list and to push for truth the same way we are here. We're not going to stop pushing for truth on the Jeffrey Epstein information. We're not going to stop hammering the government on it. We're not going to stop calling Prince Andrew a rapist. We're not going to stop hammering Jeffrey Epstein even from beyond the grave, Ghislaine fucking Maxwell. We're not going to stop with any of these people because they're all guilty. Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, possibly Donald Trump, Peter Thiel. We need to do what we can to let these people know that we're not letting them off the hook. It is imperative that we do not let these people off the hook. Another big thing happened with these testimonies. On September 19th, Alex Acosta will be called to testify under oath in front of Congress. Alex Acosta was the attorney general who oversaw the arrest and prosecution for Jeffrey Epstein in 2007. We've talked about this previously on the show, but I will tell you guys about it one more time really quick. Jeffrey Epstein in 2007 was arrested for trafficking and raping 37 underage children. He was arrested in 2007 for trafficking and raping 37 underage children. He was only charged with 2 prostitution charges. He got the sweetheart deal of a lifetime. Alex Acosta, when asked about this in 2018, 11 years later, said, "I was told he was intelligence and to let it go." Then, after Jeffrey Epstein was killed, then after the burial of the Jeffrey Epstein information, every single person, even people close to Alex Acosta, have now denied that Jeffrey Epstein had any connection to intelligence. Do you want to know why they're doing this? Because for the first time in history, the great noticing about Israel is happening for the first time in American history here. We are now seeing Gen Z, Gen Alpha at unprecedented rates use the internet and research and use the resources to actually learn about real history, real world history, and learn about Israel's influence over America. And now that all that information is out there, now that people are actually starting to question these things, it is opening a lot of people's eyes to the very dark and dirty things that Mossad was doing, including running and financing Jeffrey Epstein. We are not going to allow this to go. We are not going to allow this to just slip away. This is very important that we all push for this information. We all put pressure on the politicians. We all give this our best effort to not allow these people to walk away without seeing some kind of justice. For the victims, for the families, and for America, we need to do this. It is very important that we get justice. It is very important we see people held accountable. We see people hanged for this. Any politician who is found to have raped a child, I want publicly hanged in Washington, D.C. Whether it's by the people or by the government, I want that person to be publicly hanged. I'm not asking my supporters to go do it. Again, don't RICO me. not me saying that I want people watching this to go publicly hang a politician. But if definitive evidence comes out that a politician raped a child, it is the American people's duty to revolt against that. It is the government's duty to prevent that ever from happening by sending such a strong message that no one will ever want to do it again. Put the fear of God into these fucking pedophiles. It's about time we start doing that. It is about time that we stand up to these pedophiles, that we stand up to the deep state, that we stand up to this government. Alex Acosta is very, very guilty in all this. He allowed Epstein to walk in 2007, which allowed Epstein to rape hundreds, if not thousands, of more little girls all around the world, trafficking them to high-profile billionaires, elites, politicians, anything to get money his way, laws passed, dirt on you, whatever he needed to do. Thomas Massey right now, I am scared for his life as well. I want everyone to pray for Thomas Massey's safety, but Thomas Massey is pushing a bill right now to try and have the full release of the Jeffrey Epstein information, all the files. People yesterday on X started freaking out. There were the MAGA supporters yesterday started freaking out on X because Paul Lunas said that they were going to release more Jeffrey Epstein files last night. And they did. They released about 36,000 individual files, all as individual images, not even as files, no searchability. People put it through AI and functions like that. The information that was released yesterday was 97% already out there. There was 3% of the files that were new to the public, but nothing of substance. The majority of new files were all heavily or fully redacted. We literally had pages where not a single line was unredacted. There was no new information that came to us beyond just a 1-minute clip from the jail that we had not seen before. But you can't even trust that because we know they edited the jail video in Adobe Premiere and stitched multiple clips together. So now anything else they do with that is tainted. You cannot trust it. When they are lying to the American people and saying that they are pushing for transparency, that they are the most transparent administration in history, that they are going to do what they can to push for this information to be released to the American public, and then they refuse to do that, they call it a hoax, and then when the American people push back so hard, they then say, okay, we actually found some files, we'll release them. But the files are the files they've already released before in the fake phase 1 that came from Ghislaine's trial. That was already publicly available information. But Thomas Massey's bill is a little different. Thomas Massey's bill will actually secure all the information. It will force the government to release all information pertaining to Jeffrey Epstein, his associates, flight logs, anything related to the case, Ghislaine Maxwell, any ties to Israeli or American intelligence or any intel agencies around the world. It would require them to release everything short of the child porn itself. We would not have to know the names of the children who were molested, and we would not have to see the pictures or videos of the people being molested, which is a very good thing that that information does not get out there. But every other piece of information deserves to be released and seen by the American people. We need to know every person who ever flew with Jeffrey Epstein on his flight logs, everyone who was in the Black Book, Exhibit 52 from Ghislaine's trial. We need to know every single politician who ever gave or took money from Jeffrey Epstein, every single business owner, financier who gave or took money from Jeffrey Epstein, every single banker who worked with him. We need to know the Hollywood elites who were friends with him. The fact that more people are not talking about this every day is very sad. We need to have this information. Do you guys want to live in a country where kids are able to be raped and nothing is able to be done about it? Because I really don't. That actually pisses me off enough to the point that I want to revolt. It pisses me off enough to the point that I want to have politicians, like I said, be hanged if we're able to find them guilty. I want them to be hanged publicly. And that's not even a crazy thing to say. If we find out politicians are raping kids, it should even be worse than that. We should send the worst message possible to put the fear of God into pedophiles all around the world. Put the fear of God into Mossad. Also, if we're able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt to the base amount of American people that Mossad was involved in this, that Mossad ran and financed this operation, our $3.8 billion a year we send to Israel should be immediately cut off. I want that to happen regardless, but it's very hard to make that happen because of the overwhelming amount of influence AIPAC and Israeli lobbyists have on our government. But if we find out that our so-called ally, who we finance to the tune of $300 billion over the last 80 years or so, if we find out that they are running pedophile operations on our soil, running pedophile operations on an island with our politicians, with our bankers, with our Hollywood elites, yes, we should not only cut ties with them as an ally, but we should go to war with them. And I don't have a problem saying that. We should go to war with the country of Israel if we find that out. I don't want us to go mass kill the citizens of Israel, but I would like us to take every Mossad agent and string them up from a tree. I would like to take the government of Israel and string them up from trees if we're able to prove that beyond a reasonable doubt. And same thing, any American politician involved, strung up from a tree as well. I don't have a problem saying that. I don't have a problem saying that people who are involved in pedophilia should fucking die. Guess what? I live in the state of Florida. In the state of Florida, we put pedophiles to death. You fuck a kid in my state, or you even try to, we will kill you here. It is the law in this state that we will kill you. No questions asked. You will be dead. Your life over. You'll never see your mother again. And that's what should happen to every single politician in Israel, every Mossad agent, and every single CIA agent, and every single US politician who is involved in this. Every Hollywood elite, every financier, Leon Black, Les Wexner, all these people dead. They should be if we're able to find them guilty. It's very sad that we have a society that accepts this. And I'm not saying the general society of people does, but the fact that more people aren't pushing back against it, speaking out against it on a daily basis, the fact that more people go to their jobs and work for these CEOs who they know are in the files, who are alleged to be in the files, is disgusting. If you work for a company and your boss's name has been mentioned on this show, you should quit your fucking job or go look for a new one. And again, I'm not saying that I'm not the complete voice of reason. I'm not the complete voice of truth. But if I'm saying your boss's name in relation to Jeffrey Epstein, if Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, if any of these outlets are saying your boss's name into relation with Jeffrey Epstein, if Nick Fuentes, Myron Gaines, Andrew Tate, if any of these people are saying your boss's name in relation to Jeffrey Epstein, and you continue to go into work every fucking day just for a paycheck from them, you're a schmuck. You're a loser. You should quit your fucking job. Go get a new one immediately. It is so important that we do what we can to limit pedophiles in every way, and limiting their success is imperative. The fact that we have so many people who are successful who are pedophiles is disgusting. I remember listening to the Sean Ryan show and the episode with Ryan Montgomery years ago. Ryan Montgomery is he's the number one ethical hacker in the country or in the world possibly. He does what he can to hunt down pedophiles now. He uses hacking skills, his internet skills, to hunt down pedophiles. Ryan Montgomery and Sean Ryan, in the beginning of the episode, had to have a little disclaimer where he said that they were going to take out names, they were going to take out all curses, they were going to do what they can to keep it up, because they said the amount of government pushback they got on releasing an episode like that was through the roof. Apparently, the government doesn't like when you talk about pedophiles and talk about these private pedophile rings. You want to know why? Because they're involved in them heavily. The government is heavily involved in these pedophile rings, and it's not everyone, but it's a lot of people, and it's a lot of their donors. That's really the problem. It is the shareholders, the donors. A lot of them are pedophiles. A lot of them are very, very disgusting. That's why their names and faces aren't in politics. You'll never know who they are, but the politicians do, and they protect them with everything they have. It's the same reason when Sound of Freedom came out that they gave an insane amount of pushback on that movie. If you watch that movie, at the very end of it, they talk about how the government wouldn't allow them to put it out, how they had to jump through hoops to eventually get this movie released to the American public. I remember when I had Lori Mills on my show. Lori Mills is a great person. She runs the podcast Uncover California. She is located in Los Angeles. She did the Jubilee mass deportations episode with me, but she told a personal story about Angel Studios and about the movie getting released to the American public and the troubles they went through. If anyone wants to know what I'm talking about and referencing, go back. I think it's probably episode in the 40s or 50s on my podcast a while ago, about 60, 70 episodes ago. But it was a great episode with Lori Mills. We talked for a while, and she has a lot of great insight, and she was able to talk about how the government really does try and block these things from getting released to the American public. They do not want you talking about these pedophile rings, how sex trafficking is one of the biggest crimes in the entire world. They want you to think that the drug trade is the biggest, but it's not. It's the sex trade. You could sell a bag of coke one time. You could sell a little girl 10 times in a fucking day for the next 16 years of her life at a minimum. It's disgusting that we allow these people to get away with it. It is disgusting that we have people in our government who have probably had sex with kids, people who fund our politicians who have had sex with kids, that our greatest allies intelligence agency financed the entire operation, that Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna are now trying to get this bill through, and they are having so much trouble trying to do it. You want to know why? Because the government doesn't want to release information about pedophiles. If they did, they wouldn't have buried the Jeffrey Epstein information to begin with. They would have released it. Joe Biden would have released it a long time ago. Joe Biden didn't want to because Bill Clinton was involved. Donald Trump doesn't want to because he is most likely involved. And if he's not involved, then people very close to him are. But I think Donald Trump is, based off all the information we have, the fact that he tasked over 1,000 FBI agents, was going through over 100,000 documents, and to take his name out of every one they saw, to take any file that had Donald Trump's name and give it to Donald Trump directly. The president is asking the FBI, an agency that's supposed to work for the American people, to go through files that are supposed to be released to the American people and to take out information that makes the president look guilty. Is this the golden age of America, or is this Donald Trump protecting pedophiles, bombing Iran, sucking Israel's dick, and not doing anything of substance recently? Donald Trump has really failed us recently. I was so hopeful about Donald Trump, only to feel like I've got absolutely screwed, only to realize that Donald Trump has become part of the deep state that he promised to dismantle. That Donald Trump, Peter Thiel, JD Vance, Bibi Netanyahu, they are all like fucking this together. Peter Thiel is running Palantir. Donald Trump is letting him spy on the American people. Donald Trump and Bibi have this war coalition. Donald Trump will eventually opt out of being president for JD Vance to step in, so JD Vance will have a leg up come 2028. This is not what we voted for. This is not what the American people wanted. This is not America first. This is Israel first. This is pedophiles first. This is everything but America first. True America first is actual American nationalism, where we don't allow 600,000 Chinese spies to come in our country. We don't bury the Epstein information. We don't push regime change wars in Iran that have nothing to do with the United States. We don't fund Israel to the tune of $3.8 billion a year when my generation can't afford to get married and have houses. That's not America first. That's America last. It's Gen Z and Gen Alpha and millennials last. It's us getting fucked. It's us paying Social Security when we'll never even receive it. That was oh my God, I saw that fucking debate today. Ben Shapiro was arguing on a CNN panel today, and Scott Jennings thought he was the shit along with Ben fucking Shapiro. They said that the money we send to Israel is not as big as a burden as Social Security is to our system. And yes, while I do have a huge problem with Social Security, like I said, we're paying it to never be able to receive it, my generation. It's very, very messed up. But at least American people get the fucking money back. At least there's taxes that the American people and government get back. Versus when we just give $3.8 billion a year to Israel, we're funding a genocide. And if you don't believe me that we're funding a genocide, they just declared it a genocide officially. The scholars around the world officially declared it a genocide, vindicating me. People like me who've been speaking out against this, gotten a lot of pushback from people who say that, no, it's not a genocide. Israel is just in doing this because of the October 7th attacks. If people in Israel got raped and killed on that day, then it is just for them to go kill every woman, child, journalist, and person they see in Palestine. But I don't see it that way. If you want to go kill Hamas terrorists, again, that's one thing. If you kill women, children, and journalists, I will call you terrorists just the same way that they are. Killing women, journalists, and children is what terrorists do. That is the definition of terrorism. You are committing a genocide. Scholars agreed with me. Anyone who is saying it now is just in denial at this point. The United States and Israel are the only two countries in the world who are denying that it's a genocide. But all the scholars around the world are now saying it is. All the countries around the world are now saying it is a genocide, and they are speaking out against it. Israel is not a good state. And anyone in America who is Jewish, who has this undying love for Israel, again, I urge you, look at this objectively and see what Israel's doing is not great for America. If you're an American, put America first. Put your American identity over your Jewish identity. It is like, that's just 101. That's being a common sense human being. The fact that you would put your identity of being an Israelite over an American, okay, then go fucking live in Israel. If you're not going to put your American identity first, then don't stay in this country. Go to the country of the identity you're putting first. But if you're going to put America first, then realize that we shouldn't be funding that. It makes us look bad. We shouldn't be funding that when we're in debt and only 12% of 30-year-olds can afford to buy houses and get married. These are problems domestically. We have a mass amount of problems domestically that we're refusing to fix. We need to deport the illegal immigrants, stop the legal immigrants, stop offshoring our jobs. We need to create more jobs domestically. We need to do what we can to restore value back to the dollar, eliminate lobbying, eliminate the corrupt two-party system of Democrats and Republicans who realistically don't help us at all. I was a lifelong Republican only to realize that the Republican Party has never helped my life. And fuck no, I'm not a Democrat, because what the fuck have they done either? I am an American nationalist. I want what our founders intended, not what the media is trying to tell us they want. It is bullshit the way they're treating us. They're treating us like we're dumbass kids. They're treating us like we don't know any better, but we are smarter than they are. You want to know why? Because our generation grew up on social media, and the new generation is growing up on AI. We are growing up in ways that the other generations could not fathom. We understand how to research in ways they don't even understand. We understand how to find things like that. Literally, you have girls and even some guys who they call like private investigators. We all know that friend. It's like one person, you tell them a fucking name or whatever, you give them a photo from 5 years ago and they could find everything about that person through social media, through their mom's fucking Facebook account. People don't understand my generation's ability to navigate the internet, social media, navigate communication because of the internet. On a daily basis, a 12-year-old consumes more knowledge than a 50 to 70-year-old consumes in a week just through TikTok. People in my generation communicate with more people in a day than older generations used to in a year span time. Literally, that is how it works with the mass communication of social media. And I'm not saying these older generations don't have access to the same tools we do right now. They do. They just didn't grow up with them. They weren't taught them in schools, and they weren't learning them. They weren't interested in them as kids when their minds were developing and their minds were wired to use those things. We all understand explaining to your mother or your father or your grandparents how to fucking work an iPad or how to make their apps bigger so they could see them on their phone. We laugh at shit like that because it's dumb to us. We laugh at it because it's dumb to us because we grew up with it, because we understand it. We are smarter than they are. We will take this country back by hell or high water because of it. We will own this country in 20 years. Our generation will be running this society, and we will actually build a true American national society that benefits Americans. You want to know why my generation will do that? The Democrats and Republicans combined? Because we are the first generation to have it worse off than our parents in American history. Every generation before us, their generation was better off than their parents until it came to us. We got screwed with housing, we got screwed with marriage, we got screwed with dating, we got screwed with college, we got screwed with the value proposition of college, we got screwed with loans, we got screwed with car loans, we got screwed with all these things, massive credit card debt, buy now, pay later debt. People are in that out the fucking wazoo. And then I saw the other day, like, Klarna's doing an IPO. Fuck you guys. You guys are literally killing my generation because you know that they can't afford things and you are putting them in debt now. You are creating wage and debt slaves. I'm so upset with the direction this country's going, but I do like the mass noticing, the mass uprising of these people who are ready to speak about these things, ready to call them out. There's a rising number of young individuals who are turning to Catholicism, who are turning to religion, who are turning to true America First policies. People on the left, people on the right are coming together to say, you know what? The Democrats suck. The Republicans, they fucking suck. You want to know what's great, though? Putting America first. I'm an American over everything else. I might be black, I might be white, I might be brown, I might be whatever, but I'm an American, and I want to put America over every fucking thing else. And there's a mass rising, a mass noticing of people who are coming to the America First movement, saying no to the Israel lobby, no to the war lobby, no to all foreign aid, no to illegal and legal immigration, no to unfair trade practices. We will have this country back one day. It will come soon. I do want to talk about something else that is pretty scary that's happening in our country now. Another deep state thing, and it is directly related to Israel. We've talked about this before, but Palantir, an Israeli spy company who has contracts with the United States government, founded by Peter Thiel, the fucking Antichrist, now has deals with Ora Ring. If you have an Ora Ring, go throw it out. Don't cut it because it will blow up, but go throw it the fuck out because the Department of Defense and Palantir now have direct contracts with Ora. They are going to be looking at data. They haven't said they'll be looking at the data of the American people, but we all know our government. We know what the Patriot Act allows. We know all the back-end things our government's allowed to do. They like to title these bills other things so it distracts from what they're actually trying to do. The Patriot Act, that sounds like a good thing, but no, the Patriot Act is how they spied on everybody, how they had detention for people without having to actually arrest them. No Miranda rights. They were able to torture people. They also had the Smith-Month Act. Again, it sounds like nothing, but it allowed propaganda to be sold to the American people from American media and from the American government. The American government can now give propaganda to the American people. Obama did that one. So again, they label these bills as other things to try and sneak them in, act like nothing else is happening. But we all know they actually are spying on us. So if you have this Oura Ring, please throw it out, get rid of it, sell it on Facebook, do whatever you want, make a profit if you want, but I would not wear it because I bet the government is going to be tracking your movements. I bet they will be creating a secret database with your movements, and I bet one day this information could be hacked, and if it is, all your information, your location details will be released to the public. This is for public safety, a public safety measure. Please, everyone, with an Oura Ring, stand up to companies like Palantir, stand up to the Department of Defense. Let them know that we are not going to allow them to track us. We're not going to allow them to have more power over us than they already do. Do not continue to buy Oura Rings, and if you have one, sell it or get rid of it. I do want to talk about some of our next topics, some more national security topics, but slightly different. China is holding their 80th war parade. I don't know if you want to call it that. It's not the 80th parade, but it is the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II, and they are celebrating it with a big war parade. And in attendance, obviously President Xi is there, but you have President Putin, and you have Kim Jong-un as well. Do you know how powerful it is that those three people are standing next to each other, talking to each other? Do you know how bad that is for the United States? We all know that China's been backing Russia. I personally have said this on my show before. We probably have a lot more in common with Russia than we have with Ukraine, and we should honestly back them. I'm not saying we should go kill Ukrainians at all. We should end the war. But we probably should be allies with Russia over Ukraine, if anything. The history of the United States and Russia is a crazy one, which I will do a dive on next week. But I don't think in today's day and age that Russia is as big of a threat to the United States as it used to be. Obviously, they could be, but keep your enemies close. I don't know why we're not as close with Putin. But Putin, Xi, and Kim Jong-un all met up in China. Actually, I want to talk about this part of it real quick. On a hot mic as well, Xi and Putin were caught talking about living forever, basically. They were caught talking about how you can just continue to transport organs into your body, and the more you do it, essentially the younger you are, and that people this century will be able to live past 150. This is really weird when you have people of this level in power and this level in, media and government talking about these things. Really makes me nervous for the United States that these three people are together, that the United States isn't doing more about it. Donald Trump tweeted about it, saying that they are conspiring against him and to watch themselves as they do it. Again, Donald Trump used to give these snappy, funny comeback responses like, okay, Rocket Man, I have a bigger button. And then now it's just like your tweets aren't coming off as well. They seem almost weak. They seem almost a little pathetic. It seems like you don't have things under control. 3 of the greatest world powers are meeting in China, and you're tweeting at them. How are you winning? How are we winning that? They're all together meeting. They're all meeting. Who do we have? Fucking Israel? That are we gonna go have a meeting with Bibi Netanyahu on how to go take down North Korea, Russia, and Israel? Like, what the fuck are we doing, Donald Trump? What the fuck seriously are we doing? Peace through strength, it's not fucking working. We're not accomplishing shit. Ending the wars on day one didn't fucking happen over 200 days in. They're only getting worse. We're no closer to the end of the Russia-Ukraine war. Israel's literally committing a genocide on our tax dollars. We have the presidents of these 3 major companies. We have, or not companies, countries. We have Kim Jong-un, President Putin, and President Xi meeting up. 3 nuclear powers meeting up. And what are we doing? We're sending fucking tweets, Donald? That's what we're doing today? We're sending tweets out? That's going to win us this war? That's going to win us the generational battle that we're in? Get it the fuck together. Get it together in the White House. Get it the fuck together in your cabinet. Get it together in DC as it is. Get this country back together. We need American nationalism to be revived. Cut the foreign aid. Cut all the bullshit. Stop funding Israel. Put the fear of God into these countries. Let them know that we are not going to tolerate this bullshit. We should get on the phone with Putin immediately. Let them know that fuck Ukraine. We have no interest in siding with Ukraine. They don't do anything for us. I really think we're losing this generational battle with China, and we're continuing to lose it every day. Every year, we're continuing to lose it. And it's not even like that's short-term thinking almost, but people have to realize in China, the way they work is they instill these values into their children and then their grandchildren and then their grandchildren after that. People don't even fucking talk to their grandparents now because they voted a different way than them. That's the difference in China and America. We don't have a country and we can't even communicate on a base level when we're being ripped apart over 20% of the issues that don't even matter. Like, it's crazy. We're divided on 20% of the issues and we agree on like 80%, but the government makes the 20% and the media makes the 20% seem like it's 100% of them. But it's not. It's bullshit. That's the reason people like Nick Fuentes, Myron, and Andrew Tate are so popular, because they have people on the left and the right who watch them. They have Democrats and Republicans, or former Democrats and Republicans, who watch them. People who just consider themselves American nationalists and American patriots now. We are losing this war, and we will continue to lose it as long as Donald Trump is doing weak shit like this. And if we have J.D. Vance in office, we're definitely going to fucking lose it. J.D. Vance is weak. J.D. Vance is fat. J.D. Vance is a Peter Thiel puppet who is going to, again, Palantir just signed a thing with Ora Ring. Palantir will sign a thing with our fucking iPhones. Palantir will sign a thing with everything if J.D. Vance is president. J.D. Vance is Palantir. He's Peter Thiel's fucking puppet. Peter Thiel literally has his arm up J.D. Vance's ass and he works him like a puppet on the fucking Congress, Senate floor, in the Oval Office, in the White House. Anytime you see J.D. Vance speak, you don't see it, but Peter Thiel's behind him with his arm right up his fucking ass, working him like a fucking puppet. The little bitch, fat ass J.D. Vance. Go take more fucking Ozempic. You worthless sack of shit. You are not a good vice president. You have sold out. You literally didn't like Donald Trump, and then you pretended like it was the media lying to you. No, it was Peter Thiel positioning you. Peter Thiel wanted a spot in the White House, but knew he would never get elected because he's the fucking Antichrist. So what did Peter Thiel do? He financed J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance was a nobody in 2020, and he'll be the president possibly in 2028. That's fucking scary. I want to talk a little bit more about stuff that's happening within the Trump cabinet and Trump administration. Trump went missing for about 7 days. People on social media were starting to speculate that Trump's health was catching up to him, that maybe he was even dying. I even made the prediction yesterday that Trump will not finish out his full term, and I'm still sticking to that prediction. I do believe it. Even Trump yesterday in the press conference looked like literal shit. He looks old as fuck. You could see that the job is getting to him. Presidents, you saw how Obama aged in an 8-year span. Obama was young. Trump is fucking old. It is hard to deal with this. And beyond that, Trump has health problems. People shake his hand and he gets bruised. He needs makeup on the back of his hands not to look like a pussy. His ankles swell up like a fucking old guy. Like, again, he's probably taking naps in the afternoon at this point. This is an old man. He's talking about heaven all the time. But Donald Trump, after going missing from the media for 7 days, hyped up that he was going to be giving a speech and a big announcement from the Oval Office at 2 p.m. yesterday. Donald Trump came out and gave this speech, and he had everyone there next to him speak as well. I'll talk about that. It was very odd. But we all thought maybe Donald Trump's going to step down today. Maybe J.D. Vance becomes president. Maybe Donald Trump announces that they're going to release the Epstein information. Maybe Donald Trump announces actually something big. What did Donald Trump announce? He hyped this big thing up. The media hyped it up to be one of the biggest announcements. Donald Trump said that they're moving Space Force from Colorado to Alabama because Colorado does mail-in voting. I think it's great for Alabama's economy to get this massive spike in jobs. They could use it a lot more than fucking Colorado. But seriously, that was the big fucking news. That was the big news. The big press conference from the Oval Office that you're moving Space Force headquarters from one state to another. That's the global fucking headlines, the massive news that we all needed to step away from work for. It's a fucking waste of time. And then right after that, they proceeded to have every single person from the cabinet, and not even just people from the cabinet, political donors, friends of Donald Trump, people who work at the Space Force, people who work in the government within Alabama. They got up to the podium, and one by one, they all kissed the fucking shoe and kissed the ring of Donald Trump. It was like the literal South Park episode they aired 2 weeks ago, where one by one, they all came in and gave Donald Trump a present, and they told him, a funny joke and how much they appreciate him and how good of a guy they think he is. They were literally just all kissing his ass. It was so apparent and obvious. I don't know why, but like, what weird reality are we living in that we have literal billionaires walking up and kissing the fucking ring of another billionaire publicly just so they don't get, shit on Truth Social? That's the reality we're living in right now. If you shit on Donald Trump publicly, you'll end up like Thomas Massey, where they put over $1 trillion or over $1 billion into trying to get you removed from government. They've put over $1.5 billion into advertisements and into super PACs to try and get rid of Thomas Massey. This country it's like going to shit right now. I want to talk about this other, this is the last, or I guess the other last one's a Trump topic too, but we got a couple. I want to talk about this other, it's a weird one. The guy who tried to shoot Donald Trump at his golf course. So not the guy who put a bullet in his ear, the kid that we never got any answers about, the one who was in the BlackRock ad, but the one who went to Fort Bragg and was waiting outside Donald Trump's golf course with a rifle through the fence. He is in jail, obviously. He said he wants to challenge Donald Trump to a one-on-one golf match. And if Donald Trump wins, Donald Trump gets to kill him, take his life. And if he wins, he gets to take the role as president. What fucking reality are we living in here, people? Is this real world? Is this America? Is this the real world? Am I fucking real right now? Do I have to pinch myself? A fucking guy who wanted to shoot the president wants to play golf with the president to be exonerated and to take the president's role? What the fuck is this? Maybe if you wanted to take it by mutual combat, it would be a more entertaining idea. But you want to play golf with Donald Trump? Dude, shut the fuck up. Go fucking die in jail. I'm so fucking, I don't know. I'm pissed I even read that headline today. So fucking dumb. The last headline we do have to talk about today is the Venezuelan drug boat that got blown up. Donald Trump blew up a Venezuelan drug boat. There were 11 Venezuelan Tren de Aragua members on it. They were transporting drugs on a boat to go to the United States to be trafficked within our nation. Donald Trump blew this boat up, killing all 11, destroying all the drugs, destroying the entire boat. Liberals are outraged about this. I'm not. I'm sad when people die, but at the same time, terrorists and pedophiles and drug traffickers, it's like, okay, you're asking for it at this point. You understand what the fuck we're about here. You understand what we're going to do. We're going to fucking kill you. I wish the United States had the same attitude about pedophiles. I wish we would just blow up Mossad's headquarters or blow up fucking the pedophile rings that we know exist around the world. But no, we don't do that. I'm glad we do it to the drug boats, though. I'm glad we do it to a lot of these proxy networks, and I do like the fact that they air these things. I think it's important to air them and show them what happens to their friends. You know, these people, it's not just Americans who have X accounts, it's also Venezuelans. So when Venezuelans see videos of Tren de Aragua members getting blown the fuck up by a drone they couldn't see in the sky above clouds, puts the fear of God in them a little bit. And I like that. I think that's important. That's been our show today, folks. I'm going to go over our topics before we check if there's any headlines that have popped up while I've been filming. It's been a great show today. Please remember again to like, smash the follow button, leave a comment if you have any questions. But we talked about the Epstein survivors, that they're going to create a list themselves of the Epstein names if it doesn't get released. We talked about Alex Costa being called to testify. I didn't talk about this today, but we've talked about it previously, that Hillary Clinton will also be called to testify soon as well. We talked about Thomas Massey's bill and how important that is. Please watch how everyone votes on it. Everyone who votes to not have the information released, that person is most likely guilty or takes money from guilty people. We talked about the 36,000 fake Epstein files they released. 97% of the files were already released to the American public. Palantir making a deal with Ora Ring. Thousands of them are being thrown away because people don't want to be tracked and don't want to have their data sold to the government. We talked about the war in Gaza being declared a genocide by world scholars, vindicating me and people like me who have been accused of being anti-Semites for saying that. We also talked about the Putin, Xi, and Kim Jong-un meeting. Very scary. We need to get on top of these things. We talked about Donald Trump getting challenged to a golf match to essentially be able to kill a man. We talked about the drug bust in Venezuela, and we talked about the Space Force change. Like I said, a great show. Please remember to like, smash the follow button, leave a comment if you have any questions. I'm going to check if we have any headlines really quick. Let's see what we got right now. I don't know if there will be anything. A lot of, the Epstein thing is really the number one thing trending. I'm sure we'll get that list soon, hopefully. Okay, there are two more headlines we'll talk about real quick. StreamEast has officially been shut down after two men connected to running it were arrested in Egypt. Wow. I'm sure if you're a sports fan, you know what StreamEast is. No one likes paying for these bullshit-ass streaming services who want to absolutely rape our wallet. StreamEast has provided the ability for us to just legally stream all these sporting events for free. That just got shut down. That's sad. And then, let's see. There was one more. Yeah, Ilhan Omar, she denied that her net worth was in the millions. Ilhan Omar, who makes under $200,000 a year, she makes $174,000 a year, was just reported to have a net worth of over $30 million. This is government corruption. This is someone who doesn't even like America. Someone who doesn't even like America, not even born in America, gets a job in the American government, gets elected in the American government, still complains about America, shits on it, wants to make it more like her shit third world home country of Somalia, but becomes a millionaire in our government, abusing our systems and loopholes within the government that allow politicians to get rich through trading and through back-end deals and lobbying. Ilhan Omar, you are a fucking disgusting bitch. You should not be this rich. You don't even like my country, and you come from a shit third world nation where your citizens who come here rape our women and rape our children. I'm not for that. I'm against that. That seems to be all the topics that we do have. Actually, we'll talk about this real quick. Owen stepped out at Alex Jones' show, and Alex Jones absolutely crashed out. If you guys haven't seen it, the videos I've posted on X, I feel bad for both of them, especially Alex Jones. I'm a huge Alex Jones fan. I think he's a real patriot, and I think the way that the situation was handled on both sides is obviously not great. Alex Jones is cursing him out on TV, and Owen is saying that Alex backstabbed him and censored him, which doesn't seem to be true either. I wish these conversations were handled behind closed doors. I talked about this briefly, but I talked about it on my live stream too yesterday, but I'll post those clips on X for you guys to check out. But that's been the show today, folks. I hope you guys have a great day. I really enjoy doing this show. I am still a little nervous in front of the camera, but getting more and more used to it over time. I feel like you guys can tell that. But I want to thank you guys again for tuning into the show. Remember to like, smash the follow button, leave a comment if you have any questions. Thank you. Have a blessed day. This has been episode 110 of America Unfiltered, and I'm going to sign off today.